Thanks for clicking on the video. Like, subscribe, and share if you find this useful or interesting. Okay, it's time to clean up. We've been working here. This is all the new stuff we did for the rolling blends. And if we look inside the solid here, things were fairly well organized. So let's just start taking this stuff and putting it in the right place, and we'll do a little bit of house cleaning along the way. So right here, these roll double blend surfaces, they're gonna go right along with these guys, the corner blend surfaces. And here I just had the 4 in the middle. I'm just gonna grab this entire folder and stick it at the end. And here, the roll double blend grids. If I look in my blending setup, here I have the corner blended grids. That's a great spot. Roll double blend grids. Put them in here. And real quick, I'm going to go in here and put in 001. And same thing in this one. I'm going to add 001. Done with these. Okay, so I've got more stuff that needs to go into final surfaces. I have my roll restored surfaces, 001, and that's going to go with my restored surfaces. So now I have them all together. Then here, so roll rounded surface previews, 001, and I'm going to put these just right below these guys. So now I take a look at this. Yep, that's everything. I've dealt with the final surfaces, and I'm working from the bottom because this folder is really big. The blending setup folder is really big, so it's easier to just drag stuff from the bottom into here. And here, these roll corner subgrids. Take a look at these corner subgrids here. Still had leftovers from the preview blends, all these subgrid 6.3 objects. I'm just going to get rid of them. They weren't breaking anything, but I don't want them anymore. So look at my roll corner subgrids. They're just going to go right in here. Forgot to put a number on this guy. Now it's good to go. Roll rounded grids. Okay, we need to think about that a little bit. So I'm going to leave that here. Roll grids to restore. Right here, I have grids to restore. Hide this little guy here. This is part of the originals. And I'm just going to stick them all in here. Here are my roll grids to restore. Going to grids to restore. Let's add a number so we can make copies of this one going forward. And here we go. Here, this is all of them. Then, okay, the roll round grids we're just leaving be for now. And then the roll grid edges, roll edge grids to blend. Now, if you remember, these are the ones where we had objects for these, but I ended up making new ones. If I currently look at my edge grids to blend, there's a little bit of overlap in here. And which ones are the overlap? I'm going to hide these new ones. I'm going to look at this guy. And you know what? It's really hard to see which ones are which right now. So I'm going to edit my points. I'm going to edit my points and stick them all back on default values. Like, turn on my view sets here real quick. Right here. First, I'm going to edit the old cut points that were defining the overall blends and put them back at normal values, which are all 0.25 and 0.27 and 0.75. So this one 0.25. This one at 0.75, same thing. And these guys, This is 0.625, but it needs to go back this way, which is actually a lower value. So this goes to 0.25. This is already at 0.75. Great. So these are done. What about here? This guy here, 0.625. Back down to 0.25. This guy here, 0.75 is fine. This guy here, 0.25. This guy here is all the way down to 0.375. I'm going to put it all the way back up at 0.75. And I can see here, yeah, these were my previous view sets. They're now incomplete. I will add the relevant objects into it after I'm done here. What I want to look at here, remember, I'm looking at the edge grids to blend, is I want to find the ones that I've replaced in order to do the rolling corners. And they are this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one on top and bottom. I said, it's too much of a pain to take these guys and try to adjust them to the new segments. It's much faster to make new segment grids. And I have these new segment grids. They are right here. And some of them are actually still the same as the previous ones, but most of them not exactly. So I'm going to hide all the new ones, and I'm going to make a new folder for abandoned grids from here. Stuff that's from here that I'm not using anymore. So close all these things, and right here I'm going to take this new group, I'm going to put it right below edge grids to blend. Steal the name, go right here, I'm going to put an underscore, parentheses, abandoned. Not going to delete them, at least not for now. And just put a 1 for this. Oh shoot, I hit F1, it's trying to open. It will try to open a browser, that's fine, just close it. And then it put my 1 here while I was doing that, great. I'm going to select them all, this, this, this. Let's see, have I hidden all my restored grids? Yes, I have. All my grids to restore are hidden, so everything I've selected so far is coming from this edge grids to blend. Let's keep going. This guy, this guy, this guy. And right off the bat, I still have the ones in the back, but I'm just going to grab these and put them in this folder. I only got 1. I must have lost my selection. And this one here that I lost is not what I wanted to move. It's not one of the ones I abandoned. It's very kind of unusual what happened right here, but that's okay. Go here. This guy, control this guy, control this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Keep control active and drop to abandoned. Okay. Okay. So a bunch of them have hidden. All the ones on these faces are unaffected. They're still all there. I just need to select a couple more to account for the ones in the back. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. All of these, stick them in here. Oh, I didn't hit control. That's fine. I'm just gonna hide this guy. Have to keep control highlighted when I move them. Hide these guys. Okay, this looks correct. Yeah, I have all the pieces on the side faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I no longer have them in the front except this guy. I need to take this guy. Ooh, that's a pain. It's really far down. Oh, that's okay. I'll just have to scroll. This guy in here. And one more. This guy here, 106. Scroll again to the abandoned folder. Okay, so when I look at it from the front, that looks about right. Oh, except I missed one right here. 121. Also abandoned. It's this guy. Close this guy. And then I'm going to take the new one, which is roll edge grids to blend. See, now I see it once again. I see 1, 2, 3 in the front, 1, 2, 3 on the top and in the back. Let me make sure. I didn't see this one disappear. Okay, so that's one more that is abandoned. Okay, now I'm looking good with these guys. Close here. I take these guys. I'm going to give them a name. And I'm actually going to drop that in the folder right here. So I still have all my edge grids to blend in a single folder, so I can easily turn it on and off. And if I'm curious, I can see, hey, these are all the ones that I abandoned. And you can see there's just 3 on each side. Now, some of these did update correctly based on what I wanted, but not all of them, and it's really tricky to actually fix those. So I just abandoned them. And maybe I'll eventually delete them. For now, I'm just going to leave them here. Okay, so what do we have left now? We have the rounded grids. I haven't really picked a spot for that. The roll grids to round, though, maybe I can deal with that now. The roll grids to round come, we could say they come right before the grids to restore, because we can make them right before the grids to restore, and they're really important to the rest of the structure. So I don't want to put them at the end if I don't have to. So I take these roll grids to round, and I'm going to put them above the grids to restore. These are actually now the first grids I see when I run into my blending setup, because they're really important. This is a rolling blend model, so that's the key feature. I shouldn't wait too long to have them here. And then these things, the fact that I'm restoring, the fact that I'm blending the edges, those are fairly standard features. They can come after. But the rolled versions, where should those be? Roll rounded grids. These could be some of the first blends that I make. So I could put them right ahead of the blended edge grids. So how does the logic progress here? I have let's say I've got all my curve stuff up ahead. I say, well, the most important thing is that you're going to roll some grids. Let me add a number in here. Okay, once you've got those, you prepare your grids to restore. And once you've done that, you prepare the edge grids that you're going to blend. Now we have all the pieces of the primary surfaces. This is all of them. This has been abandoned. Okay, now you've done that. You've got all the pieces. Now you're going to start doing some blending stuff. You do these, you take care of these first. Then you make the blending grids for all the edges. And then you make all your corner subgrids. Now you can make the actual full grids for the corner, hide the subgrids. So these are all the blend grids and they're all in order. I'm happy with that. Okay. What we've got left here is a bunch of points and then some segments to cut the curves, and some segment curves. Okay, so now I've got room. Now I can see more or less from top to bottom. I'm going to go back and deal with these. What are all of these? These are all point on curve cuts. And here I kind of have a mess. Let me hide everything. And let's think about what we have. These are all the points on the bottom layout for the section that goes with the bottom layout. These are all the points in the middle layout. These are all the points on the top layout. And these are all the points for the span curves. And actually, these are the points for the span from section 1 to 2. I want one folder just for those, and then I'll make another folder just for these. So I'm going to make 2 folders. Can I get them to show up? Not really, so I'm just going to grab them. Control X. It doesn't delete them. Maybe it will once I paste. Put myself on here. Paste. No, doesn't work. Okay. I just need to scroll. It sucks. Come on, give me the scroll. Here we go. Just have to go up to here. Don't have to be in a super special spot, but it helps if they're right in between the 2 groups. All of these, section 1 to section 2. And then here, section 2 to section 3. I'm going to steal this name here. Point it on here. Let it renumber itself. Put it on here. Let it renumber itself. I don't really care. I know that I could give them the name section or span in here if I really wanted to, but I can come back and do it later. Right now I don't care enough. I'm going to take all 4 of these guys. Ooh, and now I can collapse this folder. Point on curve cuts. I'm going to collapse this folder, grab all 4 of these, put these in the points. Now I take a look inside and I just have more in here. I'm going to add numbers to them. Now that I've done that, it kind of makes me want to update these guys. So I'm going to call this primary cuts section 1. Give it the number 1. Remove the extra underscore that was in there. Paste in here, but I want to change this to section 2. Take this here. Make it section 3. Take this guy here. Primary cuts. Span 1 to 2. Steal that name. Go in here, span 2 to 3. And now I'm going to come back and edit a little bit more. I'm going to just put an underscore and add a 0 for the section number so they read a little bit better. Okay. Now I have this many folders to handle all the points. And most of the time it's fine to just show them all at the same time because none of these should ever be on top of each other, unlike the starts and the ends. Okay, I'm going to turn off these grids. Don't need to look at that anymore. Don't need to look at these points. Let me just show what I do have left. I have the polygons that are used to create the little pieces of curve for the rolling blend. And these, what do these depend on? These only depend on the full curves, but they also depend on these point cuts here. They depend on the point cuts and the point starts, which is right where I find all the other control poly segments. But if I turn on all the control poly segments, some of these will be on top of these roll polys. So I'm not going to put them in the same folder. If some things could be on top of each other, I don't want them to be in the same folder. I don't want it to be too hard to say, well, I just want to look at the ones for the rolling blends. So I'm going to keep them here, but now I should give these things a better name. This right here should be primary segment polys. I can reset the number of that. These should have a number. Okay. So they're not too far from each other. They don't depend on each other. And then I have my roll segment curves. I could have these as soon as I have the corners. But I'm going to put them after the middles, actually. There's no reason to put them ahead of the primary cut pieces of these curves here. So where did I just put that? Roll. Did it end up inside the folder? Did it end up inside of here somehow? Strange, I lost track of it. Metals, curves. Just gonna Control Z to undo. Roll segment curves. They ended up, somehow they were in the metals, but I didn't see them. So I want to put them below the curve 6s. And give them a number. And right now I'm kind of thinking, okay, so I got everything done, at least at a first glance. My blending setup is a little bit too long now. I'm thinking I want to make a folder for all points, for all point on curves. I want to make a folder for all the segment for all the polygons, and then one for all the curves. So one for points, one for segment polys, one for segment curves. One for, I'm just going to stick it right here to start with, and it's going to have point on curve cuts, starts, ends, steal the point on curve name, put it here, put a plural, collapse, done. Put the next folder right below that, and these are going to be segment polys. I'm going to steal the 1 as well. And so that gives me my primary segment polys, my roll segment polys. So now I can look at them. I can look at them all, but it's not that hard to turn off the primary segment polys or to turn off the roll segment polys. What I said I wanted for the last one. The last one I want segment curves. I'm going to put that on here, right below the segment polys. And what belongs in here? The corners, for sure. The middles, for sure. The roll segment curves, definitely. And then these right here, this control poly 6 fillet Bezier. This here is the blend previews. You know, I don't really want to put these with my segment polys. Don't really want to put these in with my segment curves. Well, I mean, it's not perfect if I do, but I actually kind of want to do that. I'm just going to do it. So, segment polys includes the preview, the blend previews, and segment curves is just also going to include the blend previews. It's not perfect, but that's okay. And now I've brought my blending setup to much more easier to understand level. Here are all my points. Here are all my segment polygons. Yes, some of them are on top of each other, but I can easily select them, turn that off, and I've got my segment curves, which includes the blending previews. That's okay. If I don't want them, I can hide them. If I just want to see the rolls, I can turn off these guys. That's okay. And I think that's it. I'm pretty happy with that. Here's my roll grids to round. As far as making grids, this is really important. Here's my grids to restore, edge grids to blend. These are all the chopped up pieces of the surface that I need to do the blending. I could make a segment grids folder to group all of these together. I don't know if I care to do that. I think it's fine as it is. And here's the ones that I abandoned. You know what? I'm kind of done. I saved them earlier, but now I think I'm ready. I'm just gonna delete them. What's not happy? I'm gonna undo that. Hit F5 to rebuild. I think I saw this earlier. One of these blends maybe was still looking at the wrong thing. So here's what I'm going to do. This grid right now is looking at 136 and 99. See, 136 and 99. Which one should be abandoned? 136 right here. I see that this guy, no, this guy should not be abandoned. This is not a corner that I rolled. I'm going to take this and put it back in the edge grids to blend. Now I should be able to just delete this folder. Okay, and now I have nothing broken. So when you go to delete something, it tells you if it's a bad idea or not. Okay, let me take a quick look. Hide all of these. So these are my hide all my grids to restore. Hide all the edge grids to blend. Hide this blended edge grids. Now I'm going to look at my edge grids to blend. Do I have everything that I want? Front and back, I have the 3 new ones. I have the 3 new ones right here. I have the 3 new ones right here, and all the objects are happy, no errors. I think it looks fine. Okay, so now all of this is the chopped up pieces of the surface, all the chopped up pieces of the primary surface made with the curved segments. And they all have the 2 keyword in the middle. Then I look at these. These are all my first level blends, which make the which make both the edge surfaces and the rounded triangles. And here I have all my corner subgrids, and the corner subgrids make my corner blended grids and hide the subgrids. And now I see all the blended grids that I use. So I have this one in the middle, but it's very important that it be placed ahead of this guy so that I know what these guys depend on. So I'm okay with this. I think it's still fairly readable. And if I want to see which grids are used in the end to create the final surfaces, well, it's all of these guys, not the subgrids, not the grids to blend, but yes, the grids to restore. So this set of grids here is the set of grids that makes the final surfaces. There's two things in the middle that we don't want to look at necessarily, but I think that's okay. This is the proper order to build the model. And inside each folder, everything is in the proper order to build the model. The cuts, the starts, the ends. And then all the way down to my final surfaces. So now that I have all of this updated in here, and I like this main structure, I want to update my view sets. Actually, no, I have one more thing to do first. I want to update the solid from the curve that I made using the tool from the curve workbench so that it has all the new stuff. The new stuff that it's missing, oh, see this restored surfaces here? Didn't have a good folder name, so I'm going to add a number to that. Same thing here with these blended edge surfaces. Add a number, and if there was already a folder by that name, it'll just renumber itself. Okay, so I'm missing some restored surfaces in this object. They're all right here in the roll restored surfaces. So I pick the CAD object, I go to edit its list of reference surfaces, and I'm going to control click everything in this list so that it gets added to the list. And right here, boom, I just got all of these. Now, what else did it not have? I can hide this. Then roll rounded surface previews. Those are not in this guy right here. But I'm going to exclude them. I'm not going to put these because they're just previews. I don't want to put it into my solid object because they are not worthy of being exported out to CAD. So for now, you could if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. Then I look at my blended edge surfaces. Are all of these in my solid? Yes, they are. Then I look at my corner blend surfaces. Are all of these in my solid? No, they are not. The ones around the midsection are, but 4 on top and 4 on the bottom are not. These are all in here. So I go to my CAD object again, edit its list of references, and control click all of these guys. And now they are here. And that's all I want to do for my CAD object right now. But when you're close to the end and you've done a lot of the editing, you can put the surfaces on there and just cross your fingers and hope that they will update correctly. And sometimes they do. But this early on, I think it's really not worth the effort of putting them in here. Okay, so now this CAD object is what I want, but I'm missing a lot of stuff in the view set for the final surfaces. So now I'm going to add them in here as well. What do I want? I want the roll restored surfaces. So I'm going to hide all these surfaces here and only show the ones that I want. I want all of these. Yep, I need to add this to here. But I'm actually going to hide them and then make the link. And then they show up as the link. Right away, I'm going to edit the placement. 800. I just remembered what they are. If you didn't remember, you could just go click on one of these objects and read its placement and then match it. So these are here and they go in the final surfaces. Okay. So restored surfaces is taken care of. I don't need to look at that. We're all rounded surface previews. Now this time I do want these. I just want to see them in my final surfaces. They're coded red. That's good enough. Put these in here. Put them at 800. Put them at 800, and then drop them in this view set. Hide them. They're taken care of. The blended edge surfaces. These are already good to go. We fixed all the grids, so this updates automatically. I can hide that. What about here? What am I missing? What do I not have? What I don't have is all of this stuff. So I'm gonna make the link, hide them, close the folders, grab these again, put them all at 800, and drag them in the view set final surfaces. When I make my surface fills, I could put them in this view set final surfaces, but that's not really what I want. I want to see the red ones here. And really, when I say final surfaces, I should do view set final silk surfaces. I think it's very appropriate to put the fill surfaces in the CAD folder, and then just simply put it into the solid when you're done. And then just keep looking at these red surfaces here. That's my opinion. So that's done. That's taken care of as much as I want to for now. These are good to go. This guy here is good to go. But when I look at this right here, which is this group, I want to add the new cutting points. And it's a pain in the butt to select all three of these things together. So I'm going to make a new folder to hold them all. Put it in my view sets. Stick everything inside. Put this solid back down below. And what is this? This is my view set primary and cuts. That's what I want to see when I look at this. I want to see the primary surfaces, the primary curves, but then I also want to see all the points. Okay, so what's missing here is view cuts. I'll put that right here, and here I'm going to say, I'm going to change this view blending cut points to view primary cut points, and I'm going to call this view rolling cut. And I'm going to add the word points back in there. Okay, so let's go find them and make the actual links. This is part of my blending setup. Point on curves, cuts, and it's these last four folders. Control click to remove the folders from the selection. Make links right here. 1600, and drag them into their new folder. Collapse these guys so that things are nice and not too crazy when I reopen it. Can close this folder, can close this here, can hide everything. Yep, here's my view sets. Here's the CAD object, here's the final surfaces. Here's my layouts, here's my control sketches. That's about it. I'm going to save as. I'm not going to use this name 109 sorted. I'm going to use 106, no, 110. So new number, 110 full blend solid instead of sort. I'm going to call this cleanup. Because we're not just sorting. We're sorting and cleaning up, and we're fixing the view sets to bring them to a reasonable level. And now that I've done that, I need to have a new name for this. I'm going to call this rolled solid 3x4. Put the index at 0 and stick it in the utility library. So when I go back to working on my surfboard, I can just copy paste this entire folder and drop it in the other one. And I'm going to do a final save. Let's see here. This guy here, it always shows really crappy. I think it's okay to increase its resolution a little bit. So remember, these values apply as a percentage of the overall size. So leaving the default values of 0.5 and 28.5 is just fine as far as these guys, but it's just horribly rough for this guy. So I've already brought it down to 1 degree. I'm going to try 0.4. Okay, that's better. But it shouldn't be too expensive computationally to carry this into the utility library. Now there's something I don't know if you've noticed, but when we look at this blend, this area is really not all that great. Let's look at it in the real model. When I look in here, not at the view sets, but at the final surfaces, this guy is a little bit rough. And that has to do with this grid. This grid is not very smooth in the center. Because remember, it's based on the subgrids in each corner, and the subgrids are not that smart, but these subgrids can be edited once you're close to the final shape you want. You don't want to do this too early, because the changes you make in these subgrids when you use their final adjustment parameters, when you rescale everything by dragging the curves around, this is going to have too strong of an impact, and it's going to kind of jump all over the place. So you only want to do this at the last minute. And right now I'm going to show you what that means. First of all, let's set these values on the cuts to something a little bit more reasonable. Because if you remember, I reset all the red points to be at 0.25, 0.75. I should also do that on all these red ones. These blends right now are fairly silly. These guys here on the bottom are reasonable, but these guys at the top are not. So all I need to do is I just need to edit this green point. Hit equal. Right now this is saying like, oh, we're only going to go up 0.25 in this direction. That's not very reasonable. I'm going to do 0.75. Okay. And right off the bat, you'll see that now this area is not as crazy anymore. It's not as crazy. It's not because I've balanced the two sides and now the subgrids are not running into each other. So when you join the subgrids, it's not as distorted. But the tuning, the adjustment I was talking about is this guy right here. It would be nice if this point was just kind of in a line from here to here. Right? It's like there's a little kink right here. And that's what, addressing this kink is what this adjust 0 and adjust 1 are about. First, I'm going to save right here because this is the file I'm going to share and I don't want to save this adjustment, but I'm going to show you how it works. These two numbers allow you to move this point a little bit this way and a little bit up and down, a little bit left and right, a little bit up and down. And to tune one of these grids, you just have to take a look at all four corners and move these four corner points a little bit. Right now, this one here and this one here are just fine. It's just this guy right here. I want this point to go up a little bit, and I want this point here to go right a little bit. So I'm just going to pick this first adjustment value here at random. I'm going to type in a 1. And look, it went in the direction I wanted, but it did it way too much. So instead of adjusting by 1, I'm going to try half. That's still a little bit too much because it's going too far in the direction I said I want to go. I'm going to do 0.25. Okay, this might be it. It looks fine from this direction. What does it look like if I look at it full on from the front? Does this line go towards these points? Kind of, but maybe it's even still a little bit too much. I'm going to try 0.2. Okay, 0.2 is reasonable. And I'm just trying to make this visually a little bit more pleasing, and it'll make this blue surface a little bit better. So I'm going to do something similar on this one. Last time I tried the first one and I got lucky. What happens if I use this one again? And I say 2. Oh, that one, instead of going up and down, which is what I wanted, it pulled this point up. I'm going to type 0, because this is not the direction I want to adjust. I want to adjust this one. So I'm going to try putting in 1. Okay, that's the direction I want, but how much do I want to do it? The front view is a great way to look at it. It says, look, I'm trying to go from here towards this area here. So that was way too much. Let's try 0.5. That's not too bad. Oh, but I see something here. I see something. It turns out that I had 2 of these subgrids. This one here that I'm editing really is the one that controls the grid, but it looks like there's an extra. I made too many. I must have created this object twice. So I'm going to delete it, and nothing else broke. No warnings. Everything's fine. This was truly an extra grid. Good. I'm glad I found it, even though it wasn't really hurting much. It was just an extra. Okay, but now back to the question. Is 0.5 still too much? And I think so, yeah, because now it's kinking upside down. If anything, I want this to sweep into here. So 0.5 is still too much. I'm going to go all the way down to 0.25. Okay. If you look at it from the front, it says, well, maybe that's not enough, but it kind of transitions. There's probably not going to be a perfect number to put in here. You're just trying to make this grid less horrible. So I look at the progression of this cell in between the purple lines, and this cell in between the purple lines, and this cell in between the purple lines. These are basically parallelograms, and but these are definitely not parallelograms. They have an angle. So this point here should be kind of in between. And right now, it's almost a parallelogram. So I say 0.25 is not enough. I'm going to do 0.375. Okay, now I have a little bit of angle here, and I'm kind of splitting the difference with this one. That's what you would do on a final model. And in terms of this area, let's see if we can see a difference. This is the one that I just fixed. And look at its highlight. I think it has a nice banana shape, a nice swoop going left into the corner and out of the corner. What does it look like on the other side? Okay, the banana bulges. Do you see what I mean here? This one has a nice swoop. This one has a little bit of a bulge. I don't know. You can't really tell too much on this one. Can I see it when I look at this guy? This guy, I say on the right, is better than the one on the left. Maybe I can tell that this spot is kind of flattening a little bit too much. You see how when I try to make the highlight roll around, it's hard to tell. You only mess with this and try to make the grid look better if you see a problem. If you just made it like this and you use the default grid with the distorted cell in the center, but there's no problem, don't mess with it. And very important, don't do it too early. This is our library object. It should not have any of these adjustments. So I'm going to undo them. Update everything. And close everything back up. Hide this. Okay, the view sets are fine. I'm getting a bunch of stuff here that I don't want to look at right now. I'm going to turn on the whole blending setup, turn it all off. I think that's pretty good. Right here, I'm going to save that. That's the file I'm going to share. Catch you next time.